Welcome to another jam-packed MMA episode of the Kick in the Head podcast. I'm your host, Yao. Today, we are recapping EFC 120. EFC 120 was an absolutely, and as I always say, stellar MMA night here in Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, if you didn't watch it, we're about to break it all down. And helping me do that tonight, I have a few very special guests. First of all, we have Joel Smith. Welcome back to the Kick in the Head podcast. And no, you're not seeing a doppelganger. It is not AI. We have on with us Kelvin Smith. Gentlemen, welcome to the Kick in the Head podcast.
Thank you very much. Good to be
here. Thanks, Yao. Thanks for having us.
So, let's talk more about EFC 120. But first, how have you guys been? Tell me, how's your day been? How's everything been in the MMA world over the past few weeks? Or the past week, I think.
You're going to go first?
No, go for it.
Start with you, go. All good.
Yeah, it's been good. It's sad to see, the last card for the year. UFC's also stopped for the year, so it's the next 4 weeks are going to be a little bit dry and boring. But yeah, life's been good. MMA this year has been great for South Africa as well. Yeah, can't complain. It's just been amazing.
And you, Kelvin, what's been happening in the world?
Look, agree with the sentiments. Very busy, but good. I feel like EFC did really well at the second half of the year, in particular, but the first half was a banger as well. Yeah, great day. Got back to training. Haven't been training, I'd say, the last 6 weeks or so because it's been really busy. So happy to be back training, and yeah, happy to talk MMA as usual.
Happy to talk MMA. Let's talk MMA. EFC 120. Now, before we get into everything, I think, first off, I want to give a big shout out to Staden and Kabesa. Iga was injured in his match against Martin van Staden for the welterweight title. So we just want to send a special message to him. Iga, your resilience and your spirit have always set you apart. And we know that this is just another chapter in your incredible journey. We're wishing you a speedy recovery, champ. Can't wait to see you back in the Hex, stronger than ever. Remember, this setback is only a setup for an even greater comeback. The Kick in the Head podcast. Shout out to Smiley. I hope you get better real soon. Gentlemen, I think we'll get to Smiley. Let's quickly talk about the card. When this card came out, when we finally got the confirmed card about a week before, fortunately, there weren't any very late pullouts or any changes to the card. Kelvin, let me start with you. How did you feel about this card?
To be honest, I was a little bit disappointed. So the original matchups were actually like really, really good crackers. But with it being the December card, I think Graham touched on this as well. It's very difficult to replace when somebody can't actually commit fully to the card, because the level is high and people have been training for long. So it's very difficult to come in on short notice against opponents like that, because you are risking your record. And I think we did see that with all the cancelled and fizzled bouts that you can check on Topology. But look, there were still bangers. There were 3 fights in particular that I really enjoyed. The rest pretty much went the way I expected. But to end off the year, I think it was still a very good card.
Joe, as the final card of the year, like Kelvin just said, it became difficult to put some of the fights that the EFC wanted to put together. However, at the end of the day, the event happened. And how would you rate EFC 120 as per the cards of this year so far?
Sure. I think it'd probably be maybe second or third best cards. There was one card earlier on this year which I think had almost all finishes. I think there was one decision. This card was a lighter card, so there were less fights, but there were only 2 that went to decision. So still a very active and extraordinary card. Some of the matchups over here also were very, very good. A few great matchups as well. very, very good card. Nice new blood coming in. I think we had 2 debutants on this card, both winning their fights. So it's a great platform for the new talent to be coming through.
And I think with that, I want to introduce the 4th member of our panel tonight, the one and only chairman, Patrick. Welcome to Kicking with the Head. As always, how are you doing?
Hello, man. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, man. I hope you guys are doing okay.
Yeah, 100%. Pat, we missed you tonight. Where were you?
Yeah, man, I'm resting, bro. I told coach I would have taken some few days off to get my mind off.
Kickboxing champ over here.
Kickboxing champ,
Thanks,
I think.
bro. Thank you.
Like you just said, Joel, let's congratulate you, Patrick, because when you arrived at EFC 120, you were coming from winning at a kickboxing tournament. I think tell us a little bit more about that before we get into EFC 120 some more.
No problem. Actually, it was the first time I would ever represent my country, you know, and it meant a lot to me, man. Because right now I'm in the world of Waco kickboxing. I'm now ranked number 8 in the world, and that means a lot to me, man. So by the time I go to the world next year, hopefully to go and get a gold as well, then I should be number 1 in the world under 81, you know, in K1 kickboxing. So I'm very, very happy about that.
Number 1 in the world in K1 kickboxing. Wow. Okay, that's amazing, especially because we have a lot of 1 champions who claim to be multidisciplinary champions, and here you would be as a multidisciplinary champion once you get a title in the EFC. So I think that's fantastic to hear. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your kickboxing career. But with that, let's get back to EFC 120. So Patrick, when you came in, the card was on the go. How did you feel about the whole fight night? How did you feel about EFC 120?
I was really surprised when I walked into the venue and I saw the whole place was crowded. I was like, geez, I've really missed out a lot. Hey. But I arrived just when Zondi and Dini and Specisi were fighting. So I actually did watch the main card. And the vibe there was nice. It was very nice. There was a lot of upsets, but yeah, it was very, very interesting, really, to be honest.
Lots of upsets. I think let's get into one that we could call an upset, depending on how you saw this fight. Zakir Badat versus Luke Young Gun Michael, the welterweight title. That fight, I'll just go straight to the end. It wasn't a very long fight, and this is how the fight ended by RNC by Badat. I think, let me come to you, Joel. When this matchup was made, yes, sir. When this matchup was made, when you saw Luke going down as a middleweight champ to get a double title, what did you think? And seeing the resultant here, how do you see all that?
Look, I think dare to be great. That's what the sport is about. Is you're chasing your dreams and you're trying to prove to everyone that you're the best. And to get the opportunity to try and obtain both the welterweight and middleweight titles simultaneously, there's only one other person that's done that at the EFC, and that's Dricus du Plessis. So that's a very, very big ask. Luke Michael, he's a solid wrestler. He's got a good wrestling base. Going up against Zakir coming from, the Jets background and coming off a phenomenal knockout of Jelson. When it got announced, I leaned towards Zakir, and the reason for that was the last Jets guy that Michael faced up against was JP Kruger, and he ended up tapping to the guillotine in round 2. So I expected it to go a similar way. Michael isn't the biggest middleweight. So yes, he's coming down a weight division, but he's not enormous for it. So yeah, that fight kind of went the way that I expected. I expected it to go on a little bit longer than it did, but the result isn't surprising to me.
Calvin, let's talk Zakir. We heard him at the press conference saying it's not about the jits. He can still take Luke on his feet. Everyone was saying Luke probably should have stand and banged. From his perspective, with the ease of winning this fight, what more for him now to prove to say, listen, right now, I don't think there's anyone that can beat me? Or is that how you think this fight impacts his next fight, or how the EFC sees him?
I don't. So remember, Zakir doesn't just fight in EFC. I mean, I think his last 2 or 3 fights have been in the EFC, but he has also fought in the UAE. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zakir starts branching out and looking for different promotions, or even chasing a second belt at the EFC. Yeah, I mean, he just did beat Luke, being the middleweight title. What's to say Zakir doesn't say, hey, let me go to middleweight and grab the title from him there. He has fought in higher weight divisions before. I think everyone forgets that. So, yeah, Zakir is very dangerous. He's a little bit of a dark horse. Not many people talk about him, but he's very, very dangerous, and he's probably one of the best talents in South Africa at this current time.
I agree 100%. Now, being one of the best talents in what is starting to become an absolutely stacked welterweight division in the EFC, how do you rate the division right now, Patrick? And you're lightweight. The next division you would go for is welterweight. How do you see this division right now with Zakir as champion?
Well, in my own opinion, I don't really see any much threat in the division for me, really. If I'm to be honest, I like Zakir a lot, and he got a very good jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, But like I say, I'm like what Calvin said. I'm not surprised about the outcome of the fight, and also just said the same thing as well, because if you remember before the last time I was here at the show, I said Luke Marco doesn't have cardio while he was fighting in the middleweight. They'd imagine him cutting more weight just to go to welterweight. I like him going there. For me, in my opinion, is not very smart. So, but yeah, he did what he thought he could do. But anyways, he didn't get the result. And the champion there, I feel like I can take him. I don't want to lie. Doesn't matter if I have to pick up muscle or pick up weight or whatever. Now, I believe I can take him. But for right now, I must worry about my own division, which is we got a new boss in the division right now, and I'm looking forward to getting a news from the EFC telling me that I might be up for the title, for his first defense. That would be really nice for me.
That'll be an absolutely massive one. I think, the fact that you're currently a lightweight fighter, looking at a potential contender spot for the lightweight title, and now you also potentially have welterweight aspirations. I think that's phenomenal. So I think let's stay with you, Patrick. We then had the co-main event between Martin the Punisher van Staden and Igor Smiley Kabesa, the featherweight GOAT of the EFC. When this fight was announced, we all said, oh gosh, old man van Staden, the old Punisher, etc., etc. But this fight ended up being one that was very, very exciting. How did you see this fight when it was announced, and how did you see it as it was happening? Did it go the way you thought it was going to go?
No, we didn't. I'm actually disappointed in the champ, the former champ, sorry to say, because the round one, he started the fight like he really wants the W, you know what I mean? I know it's not going to be easy to take Martins down and play with him, but the way he handled him in round one, all Martins could do was just to defend, But now coming to round two, and the way he fought in round two, I felt like it was all planned. In my opinion, man, if it wasn't planned, then it means that the champ was just off on that day. And when you're off, there's absolutely nothing that you can do. But he fought better in round two, and I was really disappointed. Not the result I was hoping for. I thought it was going to be a walk in the park for him, but I guess Martin surprised me. So I say more respect for the champ.
More respect to the champ, 100%. I think, like you said, it's a fight at the end of the day. It's MMA. Lots of people are shocked and disappointed, but at the end of the day, Igor did come up the weight class. Even before this fight, he was saying, listen, there's no one here that can beat me. Bring on the heavyweights, let's go. But unfortunately, it happened and he lost. Now, Joe, The catalyst for the end of this fight seemed to be the elbow that Iga caught at the end of round 1. And I was standing right on that side of the cage, about maybe call it 2 meters, and everyone in that corner just went, "Oh!" because
Yeah.
viciousness of that elbow that Martin hit Iga with, from our perspective, is what caused the concussion. Because I think once again, Godspeed to Iga, and I think you guys can obviously send you well wishes.
Agree and send regards as well.
Yeah, but how do you think that impacted the fight, and what do you think the key to victory was for Van Staden?
Sure. So, when this fight got announced, I think I compared it to John Jones versus Stipe. It's like Iga's going to walk through Martin. Martin's old. He's not going to do well. Iga's, in the prime of his life, and he seems to be unstoppable. And, Martin ended up getting it done. And as you mentioned, there was a few big elbows, which Iga ate, and I think have a direct result of how he came out in round 2. With him being, in hospital with a concussion, you can see that Martin did a lot of damage. Now, Martin is also, a bigger guy who's come down to lightweight, so he packs a lot of power there. And maybe that's just something Iga's chin hadn't felt before. Taking damage like that changes the outcome of the fight entirely. Iga was cruising in round 1. He had Martin on the fence, getting ready to get the takedowns, and 1 or 2 elbows came in, and round 2, it looked like Iga was gassed. But afterwards, chatting to the doctors and seeing that there was an elbow and a concussion, and with him being in hospital, you can see that he probably wasn't gassed. He was probably just, not mentally there, not compos mentis. So, yeah, would we have liked to see the fight go on longer? Yes, but for Iga's health and safety, I'm glad that it ended there. And then, as you said in the intro, this is not a setback; it's a set up to his comeback. I do believe Iga will come back stronger. He's been quite active. Maybe he can just take a little bit of time, rest, and then plan his comeback properly. Whether that's featherweight, lightweight, we don't know. But congrats to Martin. Very well done.
I think shout out to Ayanda the Power Zwane in the chats. He says, I think the fight should have been ended early. He took too much damage just before he lost. And I think that's a very good point, because right before he lost, he was being punished. And like you said, Joel, he almost clearly wasn't corpus mentis, because he wasn't really fighting. He was kind of just like moving around and just being pummeled by Van Staden. So I agree with Ayanda. The fight probably maybe the doctor should have called it, but at the end of the day, he's the champ. You go out as the champ. He went out as the champ. So definitely, I think big ups to him for that. It's not an easy thing to then come out like that. So shout out to him. Kelvin, what next for Iga? Or no, different question. What next for Van Staden? What next for this division? Because it's got a new leader. It's got a new person setting the pace, someone we didn't expect. Who's next?
Yeah, look, it's quite an interesting one with Martin moving to CRT. Obviously, CRT is trying to take things by storm, and they've got good connections. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if he's looking to go to other promotions after this. But what I would like to see him is have a title defense, and I think Patrick's a good opponent for him. Patrick's definitely going to test him on the feet, and I think that would be a cracker of a fight. So I think that's what I would like to see next if Martin does stay in the EFC. But look, with a record like that, he's 23-13 now. It's absolutely massive. He can pretty much go anywhere and pretty much be in I'd say the top 5, except the UFC. If he went Bellator, PFL, KSW. That kind of thing. So he's got options. He is also getting older, so I feel like he will be chasing the money fights. And I guess that's what he's earned. So next for Martin, I would love it if he stayed here and gave the crowd more bangers, because he is a legend already. But if he's looking after himself, then he's looking for the money fights. That's what I do.
Looking for the money fights. I agree. And speaking of the money fights, let's talk about the best fights at this event. There were so many KOs, primarily in the prelims. Only one KO on the main card, but the prelims was, I think it was all KOs and performance bonuses galore. Let's start with the first KO of the night. We had Jaden van der Merwe knocking out Christopher Savage Matukane. Van der Merwe on his debut, announcing himself. Joel, let me come to you. This KO, give me your thoughts.
So my thoughts is Christopher, knowing that Jaden's on his debut, thought he'd be a little bit nervous and tried to rush him in the beginning. Had a little bit of success. And then Jaden had, a second to realize that, hey, I've actually fought before. I've done this, and it's now my turn. And he didn't really need that long of a turn, and the referee had to step in. So I think, good strategy from Christopher, trying to test the nerves of the debutant. But well done to the debutant for actually, weathering the storm, coming back and taking over. It was very good.
Amazing. I agree. It's shocking. Actually, it's not shocking, because in the preview show, I did say that I've seen Van der Merwe fighting at MMASA Durban, and he's an absolute beast. So I'm not surprised. And Savage is on a losing streak of being finished. I think he's on like his 5th fight being finished. So it's a very good start. Shannon Van Tonder versus Musa Sethwape, the rematch. Calvin, what are your thoughts on that fight? Performance bonus for Van Tonder for what I agree was an amazing performance.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with the bonus. I think Shannon surprised everyone by keeping it standing and not actually shooting. Perfect game plan, executed perfectly. I loved his composure. That was a big eye-opener for me. He wasn't rushing. He was taking his time, picking his shots, and sticking to the game plan. It was a very good performance from Shannon, much better than the past few that I've watched. So, yeah, big ups to him.
And I said it last week, a relaxed Shannon Van Tonder is a dangerous Shannon Van Tonder. I've never seen him relax before a fight. First time seeing him relax before a fight. And the proof was there in the pudding, as you just said, Calvin. Moses Makari, Patrick, you weren't there for this fight, so let me not ask you about that one. Yeah, you didn't see these were not on the main card. Okay, the Tina Mklauli finished with elbows, and JT bought the Team CIT with the overhand right KO on Kulikani Cold Steel Tlongwa. Those two, Joel, how did you feel? Those two performance bonus? Yes.
Yes, 100%. JT Buerta's knockout was insane. It happened so quick. I think it was probably like the third collision or combo that happened in the fight, and he just timed it perfectly. He came over with that right hand, and Cold Steel was asking the ref why to stop the fight. He didn't realize he'd been knocked out. So that was brutal. And Timna, once he got that gift wrap on, it happened right in front of me, and he was just landing those elbows. That was absolutely brutal, and there was nothing Mambo could do because his arm was stuck around his neck, and he was just eating those elbows. Timna, savage. Definitely worthwhile of a performance bonus for both those guys.
So this is the JT Buerta knockout from my perspective. So this is where I was standing, and as usual, Cold Steel had some power, but he then got telegraphed absolutely perfectly in the next, how many seconds? I think like 3 seconds, 13-second knockout. Yeah, so here it comes. And the overhand right is right.
It's now, dunk.
Vicious.
He's like, but no, ref, what do you know? No, bro, you're out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was definitely out. I think his hands went stiff for a little bit as well. So you should be thanking the ref, not complaining.
Tell that to Kabada.
We agree. Kabanda still disagrees. Ayana the Power Zone says Bantonda in featherweight. Ooh, that'll be fun. That'll be a fun fight for him. Sure. Definitely. And Yayu Boy says the brother was lights out. We do have
Yeah,
another
it
video
was-
of that. But fight of the night, gentlemen. Fight of the night for EFC 120, the last card of the year, was Sibusiso Sobende versus Ntando the Zulu Warrior Zondi. Now, Patrick, let me come to you. This fight was the one you walked in on. And this fight delivered for the first fight of the night on the main card. Tell me about it. You tell us more about why the EFC decided to make this fight the fight of the night.
You know, before I even walked in there, that was the one fight I was really, really looking forward to. You know, because Sibusiso is a boxer and Zondi is a Muay Thai fighter. And both of them have a little bit of ground, but just that Zondi is a lot better on the ground than Sibusiso because of his training partners and the know that he has. But now Sibusiso got the weight advantage. So I knew this fight was going to be very, very interesting. You know, and I'm glad I walked in the time that I did because, you know, that was exceptionally beautiful, man, to see because both guys were showing that they really wanted to win. You could see that these two guys, they really, really desperately wanted to win. They needed that W. So they both fought their hearts out, and I was very impressed because I know both of them. You know, it was hard to pick sides when it comes to this because I know Zondi is very good. He puts in the work. He trains really hard. Substitute, on the other hand, also does the same. He trains really hard. And I've trained with both of them. So, and I know both of them. I talked to both of them. So I was really, really looking forward to the fight. But I felt like Zondi won the fight, for my own opinion. But I don't know, man. But yeah, maybe because when I walked in there, the thing that I saw, you know, but I felt like Zondi won the fight. But yeah, anyways, I'm glad the fight went the way it did. That they won fight of the night.
100%. Now, it did go down to a split. Patrick, you feel that Zondi won the fight. Joel, as an official, as a judge on the night, how did you see it?
So yeah, Patrick, I saw it the same way. I had Zondi winning that fight. You know, it's tough to judge live. Those rounds were all pretty close. The feedback that I got is that Sibusiso definitely won round one. So I definitely need to go back and rewatch the fight. So from the angle where I was sitting, I was seeing Zondi slipping the punches and countering. He was landing with some nice knees, some nice elbows, and a few, you know, big kicks. So I felt he had more damage, but the other two judges felt that Sibusiso had more damage, and that's why there's three judges. It's not one person's opinion. It's you know, it's combined of three. The judges are all very experienced. They've judged many fights, and sometimes a different angle shows a different picture. But the sentiment that I got after chatting to a lot of people, you know, being on the wrong side of a split, you want to make sure, whoa, what happened? Did I get this wrong? Is yes, I got it wrong. So I've got some homework. I need to go back and watch those fights and see what Sibusiso did. Because yeah, I didn't see it. I thought Zondi was slipping and countering, but yeah, the sentiment that I got from, you know, other judges, other officials, other guys in the crowd, even the commentators, it's all Sibusiso. So yeah, if anything, I want to say, don't leave it to the judges. Finish your fights, guys.
Be like a beast, like Cowboy.
You like Starboy, finish after finish after finish. No judges involved. No need for them to do any work. Now, Calvin, let me come to you. What's next for Zondi? He was a rising star. He's now taking his first loss. He's now 4-1. Still an amazing fighter. He got neutralized by what I would call the perfect game plan by Sibusiso Sobende to literally neutralize all of his assets. What next for him?
Yeah, so you said he was a rising star. He still is. He's got a good following and he's got people backing him. But what's next for him? I think he'd want to get back in the winning column as soon as possible. So I wouldn't be surprised if he asked the EFC for a March-April fight. Opponent, I'm not too sure. I'm sure their camp is eyeing a few guys. as we've said before, and you guys have mentioned on the show, the flyweight division is stacked. So they're in the situation now. Do they keep chasing the rankings and trying to get to the title as quick as possible, or do they take a easier fight to get the confidence back? I'm not sure. I think from fighting with him and from chatting with him and sparring with him, I think they'll continue to go towards the title. I think he is good enough to be in the top 3, top 4. He's got the right team around him. He's got the right support. He's still a rising star. He will be big in the EFC, and I don't think he'll stick around. I give it 2-3 years, he'll be overseas as well. No problem. So next for Zondi, I think just back to the drawing board. I don't see him taking another short notice fight, and I don't see him fighting at bantam again. I think he'll stick to the flyweights.
I agree 100%. I think he should stick to the flyweights. It's definitely his weight class, and I think we've even just seen that with Iga as well. That weight difference, just that slight variable, can show itself. Martin showed it against Iga, so then they showed it against Zondi. So 100%, I think he definitely should stay at flyweight. I think he'll absolutely destroy flyweight, and then that one loss on his record would be that one time he went up to bantamweight, until he goes again and says, I'm here to reclaim my O and take a second division by storm. Now, the next thing we have to talk about is the finish of the night. Finish of the night. Now, it's a fight we've already talked about. So we've already seen it. We've already talked about it. But I think we're going to talk about it just a little bit more, because for me, the finish of the night, the one finish of the night, has to be, as Joel said, the quick knockout, overhand right from JT Bota. In this angle, you can see it perfectly how his eyes literally roll into the back of his head as he takes that massive KO. But as this is playing, Patrick, let me come to you. This was one of many finishes on the card. Which was your finish of the night?
I feel like the finish of the night for me is the main event, because he was being dominated on the ground due to apparently the size, and the way he turned everything around and didn't even take him long to finish the contender. For me, that was beautiful, man. I don't want to lie, man. Maybe because I didn't actually watch the prelim. Maybe that's why I can't really relate, with the Kulikanis fight, But what the main event, the finish that I saw there, I was impressed, really.
So there was another finish on the night that I just want to talk about quickly, and it was the finish in the heavyweight fight between Jeremy Chibala and Clinty Bourne. Guys, what did you think of that finish? I think I do have it here as we're talking to it. Let me ask you.
Please, I'd love to see it.
What did you think of that heavyweight finish? It was terrible. I did not say that, it's a fight. But yeah, Kelvin, tell me more about what you thought when you saw this video.
Look, the fight went the way I thought it would go, with Jeremy moving up to heavyweight and Terence being a heavyweight. I'm kind of wondering if Terence took this on short notice, because he was scheduled to fight Neil Koch at Versus. So, yeah, man, it was a heavyweight banger. This is what we love to see, guys throwing leather. And, yeah, he had to pull the dog out. He had a fight. They were both exhausted at this point. And look, to come in on your debut and fight Jeremy and get a finish, that's quite impressive. That's quite impressive. So, yeah, classic heavyweight fights.
Hola.
And interesting.
Shout out, sorry, Joel. Shout out to my man, Ola from the Fight Week Show. Ola, welcome to the show tonight, the recap show. How are you doing?
Yeah, man. Thank you for the invite, and big up to everybody that's on the panel. Salute to every single one of you. Respect all of you guys. Just come straight in from work a bit of traffic on the road. I was hoping to get in here a little bit earlier, but I was listening to you guys as I was driving in as well. So yeah, I pretty much agree with a lot of the takes that's been on the show. So yeah, it's been very, very interesting so far. Interesting card as well. Interesting card. But yeah, thank you for bringing me on. Salute.
So I think let me come to you to welcome you to the show. Which was your finish of the night?
I mean, there's quite a few finishes there, and if I have to look at the one, all right. If I look at pound for pound finish, I have to say the Eagle finish caught me, man. Like, I'm still reeling from it. My mind still doesn't compute to it, you know, because I wasn't expecting it. I have to say, I didn't give Van Staden any of these chances that that we saw coming into the fight, and yeah, and you have to give JT Botha as well. I think that finish there was right up there. I mean, the way he connected and finished the fight, that was fantastic for somebody like Olunga as well. When you think about it, you think, okay, you know what, you gotta respect that finish there from JP from Botha. But for me, the one that really got me, like I said, still reeling from it, is the Eagle Smiley Kabesa finish again. You know, the finish against him, which I thought was a phenomenal finish on the new champions part. So yeah, those are the finishes that, you know, the one that I'd go to.
I think just to pull it up here, this is the finish that you're referencing, and like you said, you know, we've talked about it quite a few times. It was very unexpected.
Sorry, can I just add to that? It's the reason why I come to this finish as well is we've seen Eagle fight so many times. Like, to get a finish from him in this sort of position, this is what he does to people. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, this is what to get him in a grappling situation like this and finish him. For me, I just thought was incredible, man, from Van Staden. I wasn't expecting it as well. So big up to Van Staden on this one, man. To get finished like this against someone like Eagle in this position here, I think is phenomenal from Van Staden. Phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal from Van Staden. And as you can see there, the elation after his win. There's the Marpena who hopped the cage from the Portuguese commentary section. He hopped the cage to go and congratulate his team CIT teammate. Now, that's not the stuff you see on TV, but there you go. And there's Iga. Everyone checking on him seeming okay, but definitely at the end we found out he was actually concussed in that moment. So once again, we hope that he does get better. Yes. Now that was EFC 120. And shout out to everyone who is listening.
That 1-1 something's been catching you all night.
Comment, like, and subscribe at Hectic on all platforms. It's been catching me all night. You heard it each time. 1-1, no wait. We're on 120. Today I was signing an affidavit and I wrote a 0 instead of a 1 first. And I was like, oh my God. So yeah, the 1s and the 2s. But shout out to all our listeners, subscribers, followers on all platforms. Happy holidays. If you are celebrating Christmas, do keep safe. Enjoy your time with your family. We will still be giving you all things MMA through the holidays. Gentlemen, let's talk more about your MMA during the next few weeks. What are you doing? We have EFC that's only coming up again in January next year. Sorry, in March next year. Between there and now, we've got some verses. But I think, Joel, what do you have coming up between now and March?
So yeah, I've been cleared by the doc, so I'm good to go again. I had a couple of health issues that I needed to sort out, but cleared, good to go. So I'm actually in camp now. I'm trying to see if I can get on to that card in January. It is full. If I get on, I get on. If I don't, I don't. But yeah, I need to bring the weight down and I need to get back to my weight class because, yeah, if I had to fight right now, I'm going to be fighting my man Patrick over here. And that's not something I plan on doing.
Kelvin, I'm sure you don't want to see your brother fight Patrick. What do you have?
I've seen it plenty. I don't want to watch that again. So for me, pretty much in camp, I've got a half marathon now in January. Fights are a little bit scarce. It's a bit sucky that the next EFC is only in March. So I've chatted to Ashley and Graham. Hopefully I'm on the card. They said yes. I haven't been given a name yet, but would love to be on that card. Otherwise, I'll take short notice fights if there's one overseas. I'm keen to go UAE, Brave, that kind of thing. My fitness is there. So it would just be strategy. So I don't want another 8-month break. That would absolutely kill me. So I'm just trying to stay as active as possible.
As active as possible. Patrick, what do you have coming up? We know you are active. You just fought for your country. You just won for your country. What else do you have coming up?
It's funny.
I'm even surprised myself because I decided to take some few days off. I wanted to spend time with my son. It's been really training and going up and down and stuff like that. So I feel like December is the one time, that nobody would judge me for taking some few days to spend time with my family. So it's just what I'm doing right now. But I won't stay too long because I got a confirmed fight on the 15th of February against Cole Henny at the kickboxing fight. It's a kickboxing pro fight at King's K1 at Outford Arena. So I can't stay too long, but I just want to spend some few days with him so he can know that his dad loves him, So, yeah.
Amazing. Spending time with the family is what the holidays are about. Ola, my brother, what did you have coming up? The Fight Week show. Talk to us.
I don't have no fights coming up like the rest of these gentlemen on the panel. I'm just an armchair fan. But I will be watching Usyk versus Fury that's coming up on the weekend. And obviously there's a few fights that's been planned with the UFC coming up in January as well. Plenty of MMA, promotions like Cage Warriors, PFL, they're going to be active during those breaks that UFC is going to have. So we're going to be very, very engaged with those sort of promotions there. So we just keep our eye on the table, and the other thing we do is try to congratulate all the fighters that we sort of recognized on our platform, people that's rocked with us on that platform, and people that that we see up and coming as well, that's going to do great things in MMA as well. We try and reach out to them. So there's plenty that we're going to be doing in this break and coming into the new year. So keep an eye on the Fight Week show, and so next year we got new things coming up. We got new blood coming on, and don't worry, guys. Especially my man's on the panel. I've gotten your details from Yao over here. So we're going to be doing some big things next year, man. I'm going to reach out to all of you.
Awesome. You know I'm smiling, right, Ola? But tell us about the prediction show very quickly.
Oh, you're a dickhead.
Those are fighting words, bro.
He's such a dickhead, man. Oh, you know what? I'm not doing it. Hey, you got me there, man. You got me. You got me. Yeah. He just hit me where it hurts, and you guys don't even know it. But he knows what he's doing, man. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing.
But shout out, Ola. Thank you so much. Quick one from the chats. Joel and Kelvin, when is Strikes and Strangles coming back?
Joe, you can handle this one.
It's coming back. So we've actually changed our whole podcast setup. So you'll notice today my lighting's a little bit off. All of the equipment's actually sitting at Calvin's place. We've got a studio going there, and we've both got some time off now in December. So we're planning on actually recording quite a lot of educational content, and then we'll endeavor to bring back the interviews and maybe some training footage and that sort of thing. But it is coming back. It's been a while. We have missed it, and yeah, we just had to sort out a few things. It's been sorted. Excited to be back.
Happy and excited. Shout out the power. He says, and new in 2025. Let's see it. Whichever belt you want, let's go.
We're looking forward to it, brother. We're looking forward to it.
And says, yeah. To everyone listening, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe at Hectic Pod on all platforms. Until next time, salute.
Cheers, guys. Kick him in the head.
Oh, I forgot to
Kick him in the head.
Kick him in the head. There we go. Everyone say kick him in the head. Kick him in the head.
Kick him in the head.
Kick him in the head.